relationship with him as a teacher, a coach, a parent, and a mentor. I know the reason that he's receiving the Sweeney Award tonight is because of his coaching record at Albion High School. He's won more conference titles than I can count. Numerous regional track titles and 4 state titles during his tenure. But the reason that he's receiving the award is not why I'm here. I'm here to tell you why he deserves the award, and that's because the way that he cares about his athletes. Anyone is capable of assembling a team and physically preparing them for meets, but it takes someone special to nurture student athletes and shape them into responsible young men and women, which is exactly what he has done for over the past 2 decades at Albion High School. One of the earliest memories I have of my dad's coaching career took place in our van on the way home from my grandparents' house. I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and I remember him asking us, my brother Chris and I, if he wanted us to continue coaching. Chris was only a year old, so he couldn't answer, so I answered for both of us. And I said, yeah, Dad, I want you to keep coaching. I said, those kids need you, and you enjoy it. I don't know if you remember that. Anyway, so he took that response to heart, and he made the most of his time away from us, caring for his athletes and helping each of them achieve their goals. He takes his coaching so seriously that he stays at track until his athletes are ready to leave. To him, coaching is not a job, and there's always time for one more throw, jump, or repeat. Then he drives his athletes home, seizing the opportunity to talk with them in the van about what's going on in their lives, caring about them as individuals, not just as athletes. I remember having catechism classes on Monday afternoon after school, and on the week that he had to pick us up, we were always the last 2 waiting, and we'd have to wait in the craft store next to the church because everybody else had already left, and we just kind of like poke our heads out every now and then, waiting for him to kind of finally show up and take things. Thank you. His care for student athletes goes beyond their 4 years at Albion High School. He encourages them to think about their future and their plans for after high school. His athletes have gone on to study and or compete at Michigan, Central, Albion College, Jackson Community College, Eastern, Siena Heights, Western, Grand Valley, and Michigan State. And those are just some of the in-state schools. I think even he would have a difficult time trying to recall all the college campuses he has visited for the sake of his student athletes. The number of applications that he's helped students complete, whether the college admission, military service, or financial aid, is immeasurable. He wants to ensure that his student athletes are ready for the next steps in their lives. My dad also wants to show his athletes what lies beyond the city of Albion, taking them to many different states, including, but not limited to, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, South Carolina, North Carolina, Oregon, Arizona, Nevada, Florida, Massachusetts, New York, and Kentucky. Those trips were not just about competing in prestigious meets, but showing them, some of whom had never left Calhoun County, that there's more to this world than what they had seen. He cares enough about these kids to give them experiences that they may not otherwise have the opportunity to partake in. Growing up, our house seemed to have a revolving door for his track and cross-country athletes. All of his athletes are welcome into our home, whether it's to play video games and eat pizza with us, enjoy a cookout and swim after a long run, or a place to sleep when their own homes become too chaotic. My brother and I had so many big brothers when we were growing up, some of whom we're still close with today. My dad doesn't view his athletes simply as members of the track team, and it's not just about keeping kids eligible for the next invitational. It's about providing a safe, fun, and caring environment for them. Having had the opportunity to coach for the past 5 years, I've looked to my dad for advice whenever I need help with my athletes. I've tried to emulate him and bring some of the things that I loved most about my time as an Albion High School athlete to my team in Sturgis. I call him after workouts or turn to him for help with my field event athletes. It makes me laugh during our meets when I look over at our high jump pit and I see a sea of orange and black athletes talking with the guy with the red Albion hat. Halfway through each season, my athletes will inevitably start asking, "Will your dad be here today?" His ability to build confidence and self-esteem in his athletes is impeccable. One of the things that he's constantly telling athletes is that you can do anything you put your mind to. And I was one of those athletes he told this to, and I benefited from his encouragement for many years. His ability to excite athletes is unparalleled, whether you're a state caliber runner or the last one you beat. My husband, JB, who ran for my dad in high school, went on to compete in college. He talked with Tori Wilson, who's here tonight, and also ran for my dad and went on to compete at Albion College. He told JB that the coaches at Albion College are great and knowledgeable, but that things were going to be different once he left Albion High School. After a meet, he shouldn't expect the coaches to come running up to him and tell him that what a great job they did or what he needs to improve on for the next race. There wouldn't be long discussions before and after practice or encouraging talks during meets. Troy told him that he would like the coaches there, but they weren't going to be anything like Jer, because nobody can be like Jer. I felt the same in college. I called my dad after workouts or long runs in Michigan. When I needed a pep talk, I still called him to talk to me. That's not to say that once track athletes leave Albion High School, they never see my dad again. He makes an effort to stay in contact with athletes, whether it's attending their collegiate track meet or an honor ceremony. Just last weekend, he passed up an opportunity to come visit with my daughter Alice to attend a former athlete's military send-off party. His relationship with athletes goes beyond their time at Albion High School, and we all appreciate that. Given the decline in population at Albion Public Schools, it's amazing that track has been able to flourish the way it has. This year, the football season was actually canceled because of low numbers. I know he won't admit it, but the reason that participation in track is still high is because of him. Everybody wants to run for Jer. That's not to say that running at Albion's easy. He holds his athletes to a high standard. Why else would he kick his second fastest kid off the relay 1 week before the state meet because he didn't show up for practice? He can talk to and engage students from all walks of life, which is a skill that not all coaches possess. He is perfectly suited for his job, and I have no idea what he'll do with himself when he retires years from now. I know my dad isn't the most decorated person to ever receive the Sweeney Award, but I do believe he is one of the most deserving. His care and compassion for others is something to be admired. I think that John C. Maxwell's quote perfectly summarizes my dad's relationship with his athletes. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I cannot think of a more deserving person for this award, and it's my honor to present my dad the 2013 Sweeney